Good morning. It's Tuesday, and we are gonna do some more practice with the law of cosines. So I just pulled this up. I forgot yesterday that I had it typed up instead of handwriting it, but anyways, here it is typed up. So you can have the formulas if you want to like screenshot that or take a picture of it so you'll have it. I really hope you have it written down. But these are the formulas you're going to use to do a little refresher from yesterday. These three formulas, sorry, my pen wasn't writing yet. All right, these three formulas are what you're going to use to find the sides. So remember that the lowercase letters mean sides. And then these three formulas are the ones that you're going to use to find the angles, okay? And if you have a calculator, you should have it out, or you can go to Desmos again. I forgot to go there. Let's see if I have it pulled up still from yesterday. I do. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the homework answers from yesterday. I'm not going to work through 3 because almost everybody, only one person, did not get number 3 right. And I figured if my work is there, maybe you could kind of go back and see it again. A few of you put like maybe a decimal off, like a 10th off or something, and that's probably just because you found like B first or versus A, and that can happen sometimes where I'll still count you correct even if you're off by like a 10th or whatever. Okay, so looking at number 4, I have it pulled up on my computer. Majority of us had 23.9 for number 4 from the homework, which is great. Actually, yeah, most all of us had that one, so I probably don't need to go over that as much. It's the angles where we messed up, so I want to go through this whole problem again. But anyways, I'll still go through it. All right, so let's talk about 4. So we want to find the side first. We want to find this side A first, because if you remember, to find an angle B or angle C, we need all of the sides. Okay, so we want to find A first. So it goes like this. A squared equals, and so if you want to go back to the formula here, we're going to use this formula because it's A squared. So we're going to start with B squared plus C squared. So B squared plus C squared minus 2 times, and it's those same numbers again, just not squared, and then cosine of that angle in the middle. Oh, and you know what I didn't write that I probably should have? I think everybody is okay with this probably. This is an SSS problem, and this is an SAS problem. In my opinion, law of cosines is much easier than law of sines because you don't have that ambiguous case at all, so that helps a lot. Okay, so let's type this in. We're going to type in 26 squared plus 19 squared minus 2 times 26 times 19 cosine of 62 and hit enter. You get 573.16. And then, of course, it kept going, okay? Now, remember, that's a really big number. Compared to our other sides of 26 and 19, that does not make sense, okay? So, I want to take the square root of both sides. So, A is approximately, and so then you can just come here to Desmos, and then you can do square root of that answer. You can also do that in your handheld calculator. Remember, the second negative will get you to the answer. All right, so 23.9. And some of you just rounded incorrectly. We want to, that 23.9, the 4 does not bump the 9, so it's just going to stay 23.9. A few of us just had that error there. All right, so A is 23.9 feet. Okay, so I'm going to put that in here, 23.9 feet. All right, so now we need to find, I'm just going to go down to the next page. We need to find either B or C. It makes no difference which one you want which one you find. You should get the same answer every time. You may get a little, like, slightly off, like by 1/10 or something, and that's okay. That's acceptable. I just typically go in alphabetical order. All right, so I'm going to find B first. All right, so we're going to do the cosine of B. So you can go back to this formula, and we would be doing this one right here. Or you can, let me pause there for a minute so y'all can see it. Or you can kind of do what I taught you yesterday, which is if you're finding this angle, you just use you use the sides on either side of it. Okay, so we'll start with that. 23.9 squared plus 19 squared. Then you minus the one that's across from it. Okay, and then we put that in parentheses, and then put this in parentheses. Okay, and then we're literally just going to type that right into the calculator. All right. Okay, so let's type that in. I'm going to clear all. So we're going to open parentheses, and we're going to put 23.9 squared plus 19 squared minus 26 squared, close parentheses, and then divide. Open a new parentheses, 2 times 23.9 times 19. Okay, and hit enter, and you get 0.2821. And again, that doesn't make sense because we're actually trying to find an angle, right? So we want it to be, so we want to take the inverse of this number, inverse cosine that is, and then we should find B. Okay, so we're going to go back and we're going to say function cosine and then use that answer and hit enter, and we should get 73.61. The 1 does nothing to the 6, so 73.6 degrees. Okay, so hopefully that'll help you there. And then angle C, we can just take our calculator since we know this is now, I'm going to erase up here. If we now know this number is 73.6 degrees, we can add up the two we know. So I'm picking up my calculator, 62 plus 73.6, and then subtract that from 180. Okay. All right, so that's how we do the homework. And you guys, there is nothing different. A few of you sent messages saying like I'm not following or I'm not feeling comfortable. So I'm just going to practice for another day or so, making sure that you do feel okay with this. So we're going to do 5 problems today. Again, I'm going to do 2 with you, 1 and 2, and then you're going to do 3, 4, and 5 on your own. So nothing new. Let's just make sure we kind of understand the process, okay? All right, so with number 1, I'm just going to draw what I have. You know me, same triangle every time. And then let's fill in what we know. Okay, so we know A is 29. Oops, I wanted to change the color. C is across from capital C, if you remember, 24. And then angle B is 121 degrees. All right, so this is an SAS problem. So that's how we know it is law of cosine. So what do we need to find first? Well, we need to find, it says solve each triangle. So that means we're going to find 3 things. So we're going to find little b. We're going to find the measure of angle A. And we're going to find the measure of angle C. Okay, now you have to find little b first because remember you need all the sides to find the angles. Okay, so I'm going to find little b first. So I'm going to go back to the formulas and I'm going to use this formula right here. Okay, so a squared plus c squared, a squared plus c squared minus 2 times those same numbers, and then cosine of 121. Okay? All right, sorry, I should have written this down already and I did not, so I'm going to write it down really fast. so I don't forget when I type it into Desmos. Okay, so let's type it into Desmos and see what we get. So we can type it all right in. So 29 plus 24 minus 2 times 29 times 24 times cosine of 121. And then remember, it's a really large number. And so that means we got to do something to it. So we're going to take the square root of that answer. And so you should get 46.2. Okay. So let's go write that down. So b squared was equal to, not approximately. And then we're going to take the square root of both sides. So b is approximately 46.2 units, which was yards. Now, it's important to kind of leave that number, 46.2. If you rounded it to like the hundredths or the thousandths or beyond, your next angles, angle A and angle C, will be slightly off from mine. I'm just trying to stay consistent based on the directions. But just know that, you would still get the right answer. It would just be slightly off. Okay, so now let's find either A or C of the angles. It does not make a difference. You could do either one. Like I said, I'm just going to go in order. All right, so let's find A. So remember, I kind of don't really remember I do know it, but I'm not going to really memorize the formula here. I'm just kind of going to say it's the sides on either side and then minus the side across from it. Okay, so on either side of cosine of A is 46.2 and then minus, sorry, I'm having to go like this, and then 2 times those first two numbers. Okay. Sorry, I'm writing it down so I don't forget. I should have done this already and I forgot. All right, thank you for your patience. Okay, so let's type it in. 46.2 squared plus 24 squared minus 29. Oops. You know what I forgot to do? I need to go back and open parentheses. I was trying to go quickly. If you don't put parentheses, you would just have to do it part at a time, so like just the numerator and then just the denominator and then divide them, but I think this is faster. So 2 times 46.2 times 24. Oop, 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 oop. I forgot the decimal, didn't I? That would make a big difference as well. Okay. Enter, and now we're going to do the inverse cosine of that answer. And we should get 32.5. All right, let's write that down. So, the cosine of A gave us approximately 0.843. And then when we do the inverse of that, we get A is approximately 32.5 degrees. Okay, and so now that we know A is 32.5 degrees, now we can find the third angle by just simply typing in 121 plus 32.5 and then subtracting that from 180. And now I'm just going to double check and make sure that that looks right. So is the largest angle across from the largest side? Is 121 across from the 46.2? And the answer is yes on that one. And then the smallest angle is the 26.5 and it's across from the 24. So it doesn't help me say I'm 100% correct, but it helps make sense of my problems, okay? All right, now I'm going to do number 2. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to run down into the space below, but I think we can handle it. All right, so what we're looking for is we're looking for all 3 angles. So the measure of angle A, the measure of angle B, and the measure of angle C. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write these out. Oops, excuse me. So we're going to, if we're going to find A first, oh, I forgot to put the sides in. Well, we need to do that first for sure. Okay, so let's do B is 19, so it goes here. C is 20, it goes across from big C, and little a goes across from big A. Okay, so if we're finding cosine of A, we're going to do the ones on either side first. And again, it doesn't matter the order. So you could put 19 or 20 first, doesn't matter. Okay, and then I'm going to do cosine of B just because I'm going in order. So if I'm going to find this one, I'm going to do these 2 first. And now it's just a matter of typing into the calculator. Okay, so I'm going to write these down so I don't forget. Okay, so let's go to Desmos, clear all, and let's type these in. So 19 squared plus 20 squared minus 25 squared divided by 2 times 19 times 20. We hit enter, so you get 0.1789 blah blah blah, and we want to take the inverse of that. So inverse cosine of our answer. And you get 79.69, so the 9 bumps the 6 up to 7. Okay? And now we're going to do the next one. So 20 squared plus 25 squared minus 19 squared divided by 2 times 20 times 25. You guys, it is so easy to... Oops, I made a mistake. Okay, do y'all see how I know I made a mistake? When this number was over 1, 6.64, that told me I made a mistake. So it should always be less than 1. So let's see if I can't make that correction. So it should be 2 times 20 times 25. There we go. All right, so 0.664. And that's so ironic because what I was about to say was that it is very easy to make typos. So bizarre. Because you're just simply typing. You know, you're working with a formula and it's pretty easy. But therefore, it's easy to make mistakes when you're kind of working quickly. All right, and then you should get 48.39, which is the 9's going to bump the 3 up to a 4. All right, so let's write that down. So we're going to change it to a brighter color. Okay, so A was 79.7 degrees and B was 48.4 degrees. Okay, and then we're going to add those together. So 79.7 plus 48.4, subtract from 180, and we should get our remaining one. And I should have said again at the beginning, this was a side problem. Okay, so I've done one of each. I went over your homework, and now your job is to try to finish these 3. Okay, so 3, 4, and 5, I'll have a form for you to submit. Please let me know if something isn't clear, if I can, straighten things out for you. You can send me a text or remind. Awesome.